Hey, what's up, guys? Christian Van Buren here, co-founder of Ripple Effect Fatherhood. And obviously, I know y'all see the smile on my face. And obviously, hey, I'm glad to be alive, but I'm really smiling because I have a very special guest on today. Somebody that I had the pleasure of growing up. I'm not going to say with, but growing up knowing, right? He is obviously a family member because I've known him since I was a little baby. But somebody that has really played a very essential role in my life and my development as a man, as a father, as a soldier, and all the other areas of my life that he's impacted. So I'm not going to get into that too much. I'm just very excited to have him on. You guys will be able to see the resemblance whenever he introduces himself. So I hope you guys really enjoy this. And at the very least, we always say we want at least one person to be impacted from what we do here. So let me go ahead and get you in here. If you want to introduce yourself, sir.
What's up, nephew? Yes, sir. This is Angel. I am Christian's uncle, and I've been knowing him ever since he was a baby.
Yes.
I got nothing but good things to say about him. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of you, nephew. Keep doing what you do, man. Love you to death.
Love you.
Love your beautiful family. So, man, hey, I love you. Keep doing what you do, man.
Yes, absolutely. And like I was saying, everybody watching, this my Uncle Angel, I call him Uncle Tweet. We won't get into why, but I call him Uncle Tweet. It's just what I've been calling you for years and years, so
Yes,
it's just ingrained. But a big reason of why we do this is because of men like you, and what we need more of. You know what I'm saying? And so yes, I'm excited. So as we kind of roll into this, a little background info real quick for everybody watching. As you guys already know, if you've been watching our episodes, following our social media, I grew up for the most part fatherless, right? So my dad was present for the first 10 years, in and out. And then from there, I hadn't seen him for a long time. I actually just recently reconnected with him 16 years later. So for me, I always felt like my fatherhood experience in my life, I had a void there. There was a kind of like an emptiness. And what I realized is that I always had someone to fill that role. And my Uncle Tweet here was one of a few individuals who filled that fatherhood role for me for a long time and still does. Right. So just to start that off, I just want to put that out there so everybody knows the influence that you've had on me. And so with that being said, Uncle Tweet, let me ask you, in your experience, right, like what does fatherhood mean to you?
Well, in my experience, fatherhood to me, nephew, is just basically being there for your children.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what the situation is, everybody's going to go through tough times. We're going to go through good times, but it's most important that, we stay in our children's lives. And that's what fatherhood kind of means to me. My father wasn't really there for us like that, but, this is just something that men more particularly have to do. If you don't stay in your kids' lives, it's going to affect them in a negative way. Some worse than others.
Yeah.
But that's fatherhood for me. I've always been there for my children. Have I accomplished all the things that I wanted to accomplish for them? No, I haven't. But I'm still working on things.
Mm-hmm.
But I make sure that I'm there for them. My kids know me.
Yeah.
I want to be kind of the opposite of my dad.
Yeah.
Him not being there for us kind of taught me to, be different and try and be right, towards my children, my nephews. This is what we need.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Man, I already love that. I already love that answer. We just got started, but I mean, first of all, the thing that really spoke to me was that you said my kids know me, and
Mhm.
like I think that that is a very powerful statement because that's part of our mission statement is providing a positive presence in your kids' lives. And it's not just about providing a presence, but
Right.
providing a presence where your kids actually know you and you know your kids,
Right.
and so I think that that's a very powerful statement that you brought up, and I love that you did because I think that speaks to hopefully a lot of fathers that watch this, essentially brings awareness to everybody that hey, it's not just about being physically there, but the fact that hey, you need to have that relationship where you know each other.
It's not about financial either. So
Mhm.
some fathers, some young fathers may think that, hey, yeah, I gotta make this money because I got to do this and I got to do that.
Mhm.
You know, uh, it's not about that. Children want to just, they want you to be there. It's not all about the finances.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just being in their lives a, make up the best difference, man. Like
Man.
I didn't care that my dad made good money. He
Mhm.
did. Uh, back in those days, he was making good money. Uh, but we didn't care about that. We was kids. We
Mhm.
just wanted him to be there,
Right.
be a positive role model in our lives. And I still love him. I
Right.
love my dad to death because it's called honor thy mother and thy father. So, but I just wanted to be kind of different. I mean, my dad is the way he's the way he was for whatever reason. I don't
Mhm.
know, but that was his life, and this is my life. I could have chose to be just like him,
Right.
you know, and my kids wouldn't know me or wouldn't have anything to do with me. But no, I mean, I made these babies. They didn't ask to be here.
Mhm.
None of us asked to be here.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna bring these children into the world, at least be in their life. If you can't be in their life financially, be in their life physically.
Mhm.
Go to those school functions. Take family photos. Uh, just do whatever you're supposed to do as a father for your children. You
Yeah.
know, the
Yeah.
finances will work themselves out. Of course, everybody is not going to have money for college and all that in these days and times, but it's just very important, man, that we just be in their lives.
And something that I think about whenever you talk about this is the fact that we're called ripple effect, right? Ripple effect fatherhood. And
Yeah.
so the reason we chose the name ripple effect is kind of obvious. The idea is to have this positive presence of fatherhood through examples from fathers like yourself and other great fathers, and have it ripple out and duplicate into the lives of other men, young men, especially expecting fathers, right? Young guys who girlfriend, wife's pregnant, whatever the case may be. But I think it's important also for people who are watching to understand that ripple effect can also be on the flip side, where if you don't have a positive presence of fatherhood and you have a negative one, you can also, if you don't make the choice like you did to be different, you
Mm-hmm.
can you can create a ripple effect of negative experiences of fatherhood for generations.
Right.
And so I'm really glad that you brought that up because, in my experience as a nephew, right, and I'm excited to kind of talk about this one on this channel because you're my uncle, and your experience of fatherhood and your decision to be different played a role in my life. And so I guess my question to you is, what made it important for you to be the influence that you were in my life, as well as I know my other cousins who either didn't have their father present, or maybe didn't have a positive presence of fatherhood besides just the fact that we were family. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what made it important for you to set such a great example for us as your nephews and
Well,
nieces?
I appreciate you saying great. Coming up in my environment around my uncles and aunts and stuff, it wasn't that great. I mean, I love every one of them, but I just said, when you guys came into the world, I'm like, we got to break this. We got to break this and make this different because because they were busy with their lives doing their thing and not really in our lives like uncles and aunts should be. We can try and make this a little different in our generation. So it was just important. You don't want that to keep manifesting into what it was because it's just not good for families. It's not. This is why, particularly our families, just don't. There's not a real bond.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't do the family reunions like we should. It's just not there, man, because it wasn't back in the day.
Right.
So me and Rick said that, hey, we're gonna be a little different with this. We're gonna try to be there for our nephews and nieces, in the best way that we can. I mean, we wish that we could have done more for you guys, but just trying to stay positive, too, with our lives to set that positive image, to give that positive image off to you guys.
Yes.
Was just very important for us because, we could have been drug dealers, we could have been gangbangers. Growing up in Chicago,
right?
We grew up in those hoods, so
right.
It was around all that. But God managed to get us out of that.
Yeah.
And we got older and wiser too. It's about growing old and wise. You learn as you go. When I was in high school, I was a knucklehead.
Yeah.
But because I hung around a lot of folks, like I was kind of influenced by a lot of folks. Instead of being a leader, I was kind of like a follower.
Right.
Getting myself in trouble. And, my mom struck that fear into me that, hey, you better get yourself together because you're going to have to deal with me.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with me. So at an early age, I got it right. I started seeing other guys my age going down the wrong path. And, some are not here today. And I'm glad that I chose the right path. And that's all I can say. God was with me probably every step of the way, but it's the choices that we make. So
absolutely. And that choice, like that's really the piece that I want a lot of people to get is that there's a lot of guys out here who are fathers. And I guess one thing that I want to put out there based on what you were saying is that, the choices that you make, obviously we know don't only affect you, and they also don't only affect, if you are a father, they don't only affect your kids, but in your case, the choices that you made with your life had a positive impact on your nephews, your nieces. And for me, obviously you instilled a lot of characteristics in me that maybe my mom didn't know how, and that's that fatherhood role, right?
Right.
So don't get me wrong. I did an interview with her.
I saw it.
Yeah. She, I can't even go into words how thankful I am and grateful for everything that she taught me. And I tell her all the time. However, what her and I also talked about was that there are just parts of raising a son that a single mother, she may not know how to teach me certain things that I'll need to know as a male, as a man, right? You filled that role for me, you and Uncle Rick and other guys that I've had the pleasure of knowing as I was growing up, filled that role. And so I just want a lot of people to know is, hey, like even as an uncle, right? Even as an uncle, the impact that you can make or the decisions that you make have a big impact on your nephews, nieces. So don't take that position lightly is really what I'm getting down to. Your role as an uncle played a big part in where I am today, where Ariel is today. We had him on here too. And I think that's very powerful. And the awareness of that is is so essential to moving forward in our lives. And then you said setting, you did the best you could by setting the example with your own life. And that right there that's huge, because we can say these things all you can tell me to not do this as a man or to do this as a man, but what I see in your life is really what sticks and holds to me, you know what I mean?
Right.
And molds me into the man that I will become. So
I'm glad to hear that, man. I'm so happy to hear that. Like I said, I mean, as long as I've been knowing you, you've just been an awesome, awesome kid up until this fine young man that you are now. So your mom was very stern. She didn't play.
she did not play.
Even though, you needed that male figure in your life, trust me, your mom did a really good job with you. That's why I came around her all the time too, because it was just something about that. Your mom has just always been a really, I mean, she carries herself, how can I put it? She is just always level-headed.
She is.
You know what I mean? She's always been level-headed.
Yeah.
And like I said, when it came to you, she didn't play. I came around you guys a lot.
Yeah.
And hung out with y'all a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so big ups to your mom, man. Big ups to your mom also, because this is the major reason why you're where you're at today.
Absolutely.
Because of your mom. Like
Absolutely.
your mom made good choices in raising you.
Yeah.
So that means a lot. And she was doing it by herself, basically. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me, I'm sweating, but
Oh no, you good, huh?
hot garage.
Hey, we live in Texas, just so everybody knows.
Oh God, right. Yeah, your mom, man. Big ups to her. She reminds me of my wife, because my wife is kind of like that too.
Yeah.
She was like that with our kids. So
well, I want to ask you too, because just for everybody who doesn't know, Uncle Tweet here, he spent 16 years in the working in criminal justice, right?
Yep.
As we all know, there's a lot of fathers in the criminal justice system, right? I want you to just kind of speak on one, the importance of being present in your kids' lives. Like you had to make sure you stayed out of trouble. So being the importance of being present and staying out of trouble, right? Because you got to see firsthand what it was like for those guys in jail, not being able to be present with their kids. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And like you mentioned earlier, a lot of what we do as fathers and a lot of what we experience is because of the choices that we make.
Right.
And so like, I guess, if you just have any like kind of words of wisdom or just from your experience, what would you say the importance of fatherhood is as it relates to, the correctional world and fathers who are in the system?
Well, I mean, the importance is this. I mean, like I can go back to a story here when I was on the deck working. So let me just first of all say that I worked 16 years for the Cook County Sheriff's Department. 5 of those years was working inside the correctional facility, and 11 years of that, if I'm right, that should put it at 16, was house arrest.
Okay.
So I worked on the street dealing with these folks as well. But, I ran into one particular kid, and it just never left me. I'm on my deck, and I got like 36 inmates up there. At the end of my shift, I shut down my deck and I leave my workers out. So there's one particular kid. He was a really nice kid. He never gave me any problems at all. So that's why I chose him to be one of my workers.
Right.
But I got him out in the day room doing his thing, cleaning and stuff. So we got to talking. I was trying to find out a little bit about him.
Right.
I was like, and I think it was Mother's Day this particular day. So I said to him, hey man, so man, I know you in here, but have you tried to call your mom today? Because he had already didn't have a father. He didn't know who his father was. So he's never even seen his father before, and he didn't expand on that in any kind of way. But I can only imagine. But I said, okay, so did you call your mom, man, today? He was like, no, Cotto, my mom is here too. She's in the females division. And I just dropped my head. I'm like, see, this is a problem.
Mhm.
This is a problem, man. And this is why it's so important uh, for us to get on track with our children.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, if you as a parent, if you living like that, it's just terrible because, and you got children too. Um, this is what happens. You know, your parents end up in there with you.
Right.
So, I mean, what kind of image is that? You know,
Right.
this is why we have the problems that we're having today with young folks
Right.
because I'm going to be honest, the government stepped in and said, "Hey, y'all can't do that to these kids. We don't want y'all doing that no more."
Mhm.
Because some of it was out of hand. There was some abuse, of course. There was some abuse
Right.
in families, but it just got to the point where the government said, "Look, no, we don't want you touching them. If
Right.
you do, we're gonna lock you up." So, I mean, once you take that ability away from the parent, now you have a problem.
Mhm.
If your parent is not able to discipline their children, you're gonna have a problem. And it shows today.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? When I was coming up, we didn't have that problem. It started changing like early 90s, you know,
Yeah.
where the government stepped in and started adding more restrictions on parents on what they can do as
Mhm.
parents to their children.
Yeah.
Like if you scream at your kid, they could call DCFS and say, "Hey, my mom screamed at me or my dad screamed at me," and now you got them knocking on your door.
Right.
And that's a no-no. It shouldn't be like that.
Mm.
That shouldn't have taken place because now look what happened in Uvalde. You know, he was a baby himself. He was only 18 years old. He
Mhm.
dropped out, you know, but you can only imagine what was going through his mind. I mean, what motivates a child to go and kill other children like that?
Right.
What motivated the knucklehead in New York to go and do what he did?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to, it has to go back to the parents. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Somebody is not doing their job as a parent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is why we have all this out of control stuff right now. And I'm so glad that I'm there for my kids. I've always talked to Chandra, talked to Angelo in the past. Whenever I talked to him, I talked to Ryan. Lily, big ups to my baby because I mean she's here with me, and I'm so glad that she is. She's
Yeah.
on the National Honor Society. She just had an event for that, and I mean, she's just always doing really good. But I'm still afraid of the fact that she's still got another year to go in this high school,
Right.
and it's gonna happen again. I hate to say it, but they just keep popping up
Mhm.
because these kids are out of control. I mean, the parents are not there anymore. So this is what you have. You have these ticking time bombs walking around
Mhm.
because they didn't have that love. You know, they didn't have that.
Yeah.
So I mean, so that's why I say, man. I mean, we have to. It's important. Like, I mean, they're in the jail. They're in the jail too. Like some of these folks should not. I mean, I've met folks that just shouldn't be on the street anymore. I
Right.
mean, they
Right.
lost their parents. Uh, they've had multiple prior cases uh, of all kinds of things, but they're in jail because they have mental issues, and it's the safest place for them because
Right.
there's a little bit of help there. If the jail can get them before they get out here and the cops get to them and shoot them, they're better off being in jail. Because maybe the jail can do something, just maybe. But Ramos didn't have that. He didn't have that chance.
Right.
He went and did what he did, and they immediately rushed in and took him out.
Mhm.
So I mean, hey, everybody can hate him. We can hate him and say, he's an animal, he's this and he's that because he killed these 19 babies and these two adults. But I mean, he really ain't the fault. I mean, what happened to this kid for him to end up that way? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? It goes back to the parents.
Yeah. And so essentially, yeah, essentially the presence, and especially when it comes to being, um, when you have choices to make, and when those choices involve legal issues, right? Like it's not, it's important to realize that, and this is kind of what I'm gathering from your story about the especially the story about the kid whose mom was also locked up, is, you know, it's when it comes to you being in a situation where you have to make a decision on whether to commit an illegal act or not, as a parent, and especially for all the fathers out there, I mean, it can be the issues that it can cause may not just be the immediate issues. I mean, these can be issues that
Right.
continuously show up later on in the kids' lives, right? And so
Adds up.
essentially, yeah, and essentially, I think another big point to really harp on is, for those fathers who are currently locked up, every day that you wake up, you've been given the opportunity to make the right choice.
Right.
And so the way I look at it is, if you are a father or father figure, or somebody who fills the fatherhood role, and you find yourself in the criminal justice system, you still have the opportunity to make the right choice for your kids, right?
Right.
Even if you don't see your kids, you have the opportunity to make the right choice for yourself, for your life, that will hopefully be an illustration or an example for your kids to see. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
like, so yeah, so I mean, I think that even being in the criminal justice system, um, you know, you still, because obviously we don't want to live in the past, you still have the opportunity to change it around for the future, especially like I said, for the fathers that are in the system, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I definitely wanted you to touch on that, and then just the
Yeah.
importance of your role as an uncle, because I mean, those are two parts of your life that have really impacted my life,
Well,
right?
before you get to that last question, let me just
Oh,
say
go
this.
ahead.
I
Go
can,
ahead.
because we've talked about jail. And let me just say to those folks that are listening and
Yeah.
watching, we're not in it, because Christian does the same, or he's done the same thing that I've done. So we are not in any way, form, or fashion promoting jail.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, you don't want to end up there for any
Absolutely not.
reason. You don't want to do an hour there.
Right.
Okay. I come from Cook County.
Yeah.
So it's terrifying. It's a terrifying experience. And for those folks that are repeat offenders, I take my hat off to them, because I don't know how they do it.
Right.
There's no way that I could come back into the jail and endure all the stuff that I got to endure just in the process level, of intake coming in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Hmm.
So we're not trying to promote that. It's just that if you end up there uh, for reasons like for any reason really,
Right.
and you need some psych help, take advantage of that. It's
Mhm.
going to help you. It will help you if they have it there to offer. I mean, most jails do. And get out of there. Take it, get out of there, and follow up with somebody on the outside,
Yes.
because we all, it's a tough world we live in. It really is. It's tough out here. So, uh,
That's no,
yeah,
that amen. I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad that you spoke that out there, and I'm glad that you said follow up on the outside, because I mean, I'm sure you've seen it when you were working house arrest. That's something that a lot of people just don't do,
oh God,
you
yeah,
know. So I'm glad that you spoke that, and I hope that sits with people who will listen to this and watch this. And the most important parts is the follow up, you know what I mean?
yeah,
That's what'll keep you busy,
yeah,
right? If you have somewhere to be that's not doing something illegal, but
right,
also it's healthy mental health, which is what hopefully we're or not hopefully which is what we're trying to focus on with this organization, the mental health of fathers, that mental health piece is essentially what needs the most attention, especially if you're someone
Right.
who was in the criminal justice system and is now out. So,
Right. Yeah. So
yes,
you have a chance to make that right.
absolutely.
As long as you haven't killed anybody, you haven't committed any felonies, federal and stuff like that, then you have a chance. Don't think just because you went to jail and you get this X on your back that your life is done, because it's not. You got a lot of successful folks out there like Judge Mathis, who was in the criminal justice system once upon a time. Look, now he's a judge. It is possible to change,
Yeah,
and make things better. Especially if you got children too. You got children, man. You got to bounce back from that. Like, I mean, you ain't supposed to be in there. First of all, if you brought a life into the world, you're supposed to be taking care of your responsibilities as that parent, mother or father.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be going to jail, because you know what that's going to do. It's going to leave a negative image on your children.
Yeah.
And once you start repeatedly going, then how you expect your children to end up?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing their mom and dad locked up all the time. It's just a bad thing.
Right.
It really is.
So for everybody watching, the flip side of that is the gravity of the impact that you can make when you are present, right? And so
Right.
so that's the focus that we want everybody to really get from this. And I think that your experience in criminal justice is essential in the emotion that you put into your words, right? When it comes to parents and staying out of jail, right? So I think, first off, thank you for being willing to speak on that and give that wisdom, from your experience, because a lot of people need it, especially in the world that we live in, like you said.
Yeah.
So yes, that was a blessing. But
yes, sir.
You ready for the golden question, Uncle T?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna do the best I can, nephew.
Right.
Go ahead, man. Fire it at me.
Golden question. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? And what would your superhero name be?
Okay, so that's a good one right there. Wow. I've heard guys on your channel
Okay.
answer that, and I did not prep myself for this. And I said, when Christian gets around to me, I'm already have this in the back, and I don't. You caught me with my pants down, nephew.
Oh man, I love it.
Man, let's see. Superpower, energy man.
Energy man.
Energy man, because
Well, that would be your name, right?
yes.
Okay, and then
My superpower is energy.
Energy.
And just call me energy man, because, and I'm not trying to put myself on the pedestal, but at 53 years old, going on 54.
Yeah.
I mean, I am beat up a little bit because as you get older, your body will function differently. I don't care what you do. I don't care what kind of exercise you're doing. Your body is going to start functioning differently.
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad that I have the energy, man, to get up and do what I do, because, I work the security job that I do, thanks to my brother, because he was the one that actually got me hooked up with this job. And I've been doing it since I've been here.
Nice.
Made 5 years this month working for this company.
Yeah.
And, I don't do a whole lot, but I also take on the responsibility of working a part-time gig. So I work for Amazon a little bit. So I deliver packages also.
Okay.
So this is how I keep myself going.
Yes.
Also, I got bills too. So that's the reality. Is I got bills.
That'll keep you going.
Right. So this is what I'm doing, man. And I feel great that and blessed that I'm able to even say this and, wake up another day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wake up tomorrow, go to work, hopefully, God willing. And, that's how my day goes every day, because I do have responsibilities. Like I got this baby girl, Lily, I mean, she's pretty much grown now, but I'm so glad that I've been there for her. Me and my wife
Crazy.
has been in her life. Ryan is now in Virginia. He's out there trying to do something. So
Okay.
ups to him for making a move. And my other two babies in Chicago, they do what they do.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll be getting a visit from Chandra. She's talking about coming out here
Okay, great.
and visit one day. But yeah, so energy man. I
Energy,
am
man.
energy man. I got to keep this energy. I mean, I also drink coffee too.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee
Oh
helps
man.
out a lot. Okay.
Amen. But I love that. I love that answer because, yeah, I mean, you need that energy that you have a lot of it is fueled by the things that you mentioned, right? Your
Right.
kids, Lily, Ryan, like just
Yeah.
obviously the bills, but
My wife.
yeah, your wife, like
Yeah.
everything that fuels that are things that you have this strong emotional and loving attachment to.
Yeah.
And so I think it's pretty cool that those things make up your superpower.
Yep.
That's cool. I thought that was cool.
My
So
wife has
yeah,
always been, backbone.
yeah,
She's been doing it too, man. She does it too. So she helps me keep this stuff going.
yeah. Amen. Amen. Well,
Yeah, we got to give it up to the mothers too. The mothers,
absolutely.
hey,
I
Daddy
do.
doing her thing too. So behind every successful man, there's a woman, they say.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
true.
You know my saying? I say beside every great man is a great woman.
Yes. There you go. That's even better. Behind every great man is a great woman. Because my wife will see this, and I gotta say it that way.
Yeah.
I'll get the beat down.
We say, I told Maddie recently, I said, we change it from behind to beside.
Right.
And I was like, oh, let's go. I like it. But
well, I mean, it's true though. It really is.
Yeah.
And it actually works both ways.
Absolutely.
Because it ain't nothing that I wouldn't do for my wife.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we've been together since '93.
They help you to be the father that you are.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No,
yeah. I mean, I had to learn some things from my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, maybe she is right. Maybe I should have handled that this way. Mm-hmm. Women are very smart, so we have to listen to them.
Amen.
We have to. Yeah. Spiritual too. I won't leave that out. Spiritual as well. Like you have to have a spiritual thing in your life, because if you don't have God in your life, then hey, you can end up any kind of way. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But as long as you put faith into God, you keep asking Him to bless you, and He's going to help you if you help yourself too. So you have to be proactive in doing the things that you need to do to stay right, and God will help that.
Yeah,
I believe that.
Absolutely.
So
appreciate you, Unc. Right. Ultimately, I just want to say a big thank you for you willingly giving your time to our channel, to all the father figures and people who fill the fatherhood role out there who are watching this, to all the mothers, to our entire audience. We're very grateful for you just making the time to do this and just making the time to share some positivity behind your experience of fatherhood and to give us some real talk about the importance of how parenthood and fatherhood relate to your experience with the criminal justice system, and just everything that you covered today. So we're very grateful.
Wow, man, I'm grateful for you having me on too, nephew.
For everybody watching, as you always know, our social medias are at re.fatherhood, Facebook, Instagram. This will be posted on one of our upcoming Saturdays. You guys already know we post on Saturdays, so make sure you go check it out, and share it. because at the end of the day, we're trying to create a ripple effect, and the more positive content that we share with others, the better chance we have of creating a positive presence of fatherhood that ripple effects throughout our world. So this has been Chris Van Buren. It's my Uncle Tweet. Again, we're blessed to have you. And as always, thank you guys for being here.